Is it that dark? Hey boys and girls, we're back. Oh, I have been looking forward to this trip for actually quite a while. It took me a little planning, but we are gonna go do the Show Us Your Steak challenge. I picked up a mean steak at the butcher's, and we're gonna go visit. My old camp in the hardwood forest. Right now it's large pines, but where my camp is, it's hardwood. So great for fire, great for warmth, because it's cold. A wool base layer, a Kansas working shirt, fall ribbon wool shirt. It's cold. Today is almost 9 o'clock and 3 degrees Celsius. So I'm gonna hike in, see if we can find camp, see if my camp is still there, and then we're gonna get going. So that way. So it's been 3 months since my last visit, and everything changed. No leaves on the trees. All the leaves are here on the floor. My late summer camp turned into a late fall camp. And it's funny. I've been going here for the last 12 months I think, and I realized that shooting here in the fall and the winter is perfect, and in the summertime the canopies in the trees blocks everything. You can't see anything in here, and it's very dense with mosquitoes as well. I hope that the sound from the forest next to this one is not gonna be too disturbing. I can hear large machinery. This is not the wilderness. This is Denmark. A population of 5 million, not a big country. But this place is mine. So I have a permit to come here. And to do what I do. So let's pack out, clear the campsite, and get a fire going. Lot of leaves, man. So this log down here covered in leaves used to be my chopping log. So clear that one as well. I always bring my small table discs for when I go camping. It's just for fun, and it makes camping that much more fun. So these legs are old. So, I have to tell you something. One of the first axes I ever got was a hardware store bought Hulteforce, the old line or the old model, and I liked it a lot. I liked it very, very much. So I did some small burning with small torch on the handle. I gave it some oil and some beeswax, and the handle was perfect. But then I got the idea of making the handle totally black. So I took a larger torch and I fried the handle, and I broke it. It shrunk, and I oiled it for 48 days, or 48 hours. Didn't work. So when you're not the big craftsman or the big what's it called? I'm not good with my hands for building stuff. I'm awesome at cooking food, but not with woodworking. So I called Hans Peter from a Danish blacksmith called Landvirke. He did a handle for my large Hultsbrook axe head, a vintage head, and I explained what I did. We had a laugh, and he did this. Custom made ash black handle. I don't know if you can see this, but grain orientation is absolutely perfect. Absolutely. Nice palm swell at the bottom, hung with a nice metal wedge, resharpened, so it will take off hairs from my hand. But working with an axe, I always do this, and this, it just stops. So handle geometry, look, feel. I love it. So let's get some firewood and give it a few swings. Can you hear them? They are long gone. They are maybe at least a mile away. Well, I found some firewood. That piece is a bit punky on the outside. This is also new, but more on that later. Mikkel, if you're watching, a guy called Cody on the YouTube. He also goes by the name Wranglestar. He uses a term when working with tools that they just give him the fizz. They make him feel excited. Custom made, bushcrafter, all natural handles, red liners, more on that later. But the wood, all dry. So we're gonna take this to camp and process it down, because this is not the ideal location. So, firewood and axe, safety. Yeah, that's always the big question or the big issue, but I found some semi-punky wood. This is gonna be the bottom layer for the fire. That's not the best way to get through those. They need a bit more. And these are the actual firewood pieces. So And this is all the stupid pieces. I'm not even gonna try to get through this one. Nope. I think I'm gonna need to cut a few more straight grain pieces to split before we can get the fire going. So I always bring a small piece of dry wood from home, so that I make sure that I have dry kindling. I don't know why I do this, but it just seems to work for me. Dry kindling makes sure that my fire will always light. And I haven't been here for 3 months, so I wasn't sure about conditions and weather, if we're gonna do it under a tarp. So having this with me helps. The firewood is very, very dense, as you probably saw. This is not the biggest axe. This is in Danish terms 900 grams. And for splitting that kind of wood, I probably would have brought a bigger axe, but it works. So a handful of super dry kindling, we should be ready to go. So Mikkel made me this knife. It's unbelievable. This is gonna be my companion for the next long period of time, I promise you. It's cold. It really is cold. The purpose of today's video is show us your steak, and I'm gonna save the steak for just a few minutes. The purpose of today's video is show us your steak, and YouTube challenge spreading across YouTube. Speaking of men's mental health, so before going into that part of the video, I just want to tell you that today's what I'm going to say is very personal. It's my own story, and it's if I mess up in English, please bear with me. I promise not to do anything dragging along, but my English is okay, and I can speak it. But telling a story with personal items and things that happened to me might turn out to be a bit more difficult than anticipated. But until I'm gonna warm myself by the fire, I'm gonna enjoy one of these Stone IPAs. That was good. It's a good beer. So I'm gonna let the fire build up so we can cook, and then we're gonna cook the steak. While it rests, we're gonna open the topic of today's video for 5-6 minutes, and then it's time for lunch. So make the fire burn a bit down so we can cook on it, and I'll see you later. So we did move a bit closer to the fire to get some warmth. Just gotta move my chopping block. I think it's time. Honestly, guys, I think it's time for me to show you the steak. Cue the Star Wars music. Oh shit. Ain't she pretty? Ain't she pretty? Smells like steak. 800 grams of well hung, in I think it's a French pronunciation. It's called côte de bœuf. I think it's a nice steak with a lot of fat and very tender. It has been in the at the butcher shop for quite a while, so it's very much mature, very good, and we're gonna cook it. And while it rests, we're gonna open the topic of today's video. But let's cook it. Special occasion, special beer, local brewery with a Danish artist called Jim Lyngvild. It says that it's a luxury beer from the island that I live on, Funen, and it wakes the inner Viking in you. The inner Viking. Imperial Indian Pale Ale. I always take these home. So let's have a taste. That's a good beer. So, men's mental health. Long story short, I used to work with in a treatment facility with drug addicts, and before that I worked with young people who had a high volume of criminal activities. So over a period of time, my body and my mind didn't function as well as they used to. I had some trouble doing the administration the administration part of my work, all the typing. I couldn't keep up. So after a long time of dragging behind, I went to the doctors and I was diagnosed with severe work-related stress, and I left my job, and I came home. And coming home, being me, I'm not a small guy. I go to the gym 4 times a week, maybe 3 times a week. I bench press 140 kilos, so I'm not a small guy. I'm very strong, but overcoming and being attacked by this is more powerful than me. So I went to therapy, not with a shrink or a psychologist, but cognitive therapy for building a toolbox inside of me to handle stress. It was not easy for my wife, not easy for my children, not easy for me. 2 months after I quit my job, we were supposed to go to England to watch a concert with Phil Collins, and I was unable to pack my suitcase because I didn't know what I was supposed to take. I was unable to go shopping. I went grocery shopping, came home with 5 items. None of them were on the list that I brought to the grocery store. I had a bad temper for a long time. I was very sad and very broken inside, but the sadness and the hurt turned into anger instead. So I was not a pleasant guy being around. I had a buddy of mine at the gym who showed me. He took me beach camping and beach cooking. So we went to the beach and made firewood and cooked the chicken and had a beer and sat in the sand and looked over the ocean. That was 1.5 years ago. I came home from that day thinking that something had pressed a button, maybe a reset button. It was not a cure, but I came home with an inner battery that was recharged. I left broken and I came home recharged. I have been thinking about the outdoor life and bushcrafting and camping, and I think that it contains a lot of small tasks. Procuring firewood, sawing it up, splitting it with an axe, a basic tool, hand tool, manual labor, making feather sticks, locating fat wood, lighting the fire, feeling the warmth of the fire, and when the fire tasks are done, it's time for a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee is an international sign of saying hello, saying should we have a talk. But when you're not talking to anyone and you're sitting in the forest all alone, the coffee opens up. The coffee opens up that you can listen, that you can relax, you can retain some heat. So getting out, doing these small tasks and making firewood and making a small fire, cooking coffee, and just listening, being present with nature. I know that I shoot YouTube videos, but I assure you that sometimes you will only see 3 or 4 pictures from a trip lasting 6 hours, and those 6 hours are I'm sitting in the forest floor, all quiet. I have a beer, I have some coffee, I use my axe, tools and activities that I like, but it pleases me, and I think in some way it helps. I think the forest and nature, the beaches, the mountains, I think that they help. I think that when you come out here, and you don't have to do all of this, you can bring a blanket and a thermos with coffee in, tea, you can bring a beer, you can bring a lunchbox. Come out, find a secluded place, sit down. Don't think about grocery shopping or school the next day or work. But when you come out here, nature takes over, and I feel secluded. I feel rejuvenated. So coming from a long history of being not that well, life out here helps. Of course, there is an aspect of bringing great tools and great axes and sharp knives and making Colombian coffee over oak fire, but all in all, really from from the bottom of my heart, I think that nature helps. I really do. But find your own way. Find your own way to do it. You can look at videos like Haze Outdoors or Joe Robinet or Scrambled O or Dog Outside. Awesome YouTubers and great campers. They do, some of them do trips together, some of them do them solo, but find your way to do it. TA Outdoors, My Self-Reliance, a lot of those guys. I follow them all. The best entertainment ever. I think it's called slow TV. I'm not sure, but the genre is called slow TV, I think, where you, for instance, follow Joe bushcraft camping with Scout. But find your way. Learn some tricks on YouTube. Find inspiration, but find your way. I really think that it helps. So if it's post-traumatic stress, if it's depression, if it's anxiety problems, whatever, try going outside, and not to the park, but take your car, take your bike, take the bus, take the train, I don't care, go. Come outside and feel the forest leaves. Sit down, have a fire, have a lunchbox, have a snack. Don't litter. Don't. We hate that. Oh, we hate that. But my story, being stress, severe work, I lost it. Being diagnosed with severe work-related stress, the outdoors and the woods of small Denmark, they helped. Hope you can use it. In this video you're supposed to tag 2 other people, but the awesome dude from Ohio, Mr. Scrambled O, who tagged me, said that this challenge has spread all across YouTube. So I know this dude called Kimber Bushcraft and Winter Outdoors or Winter Outside, Peace of Winter. So Kimber Bushcraft, Winter Outdoors, a steak, a fire, a small video. You don't have to say anything. Come outside, cook the steak, eat it, enjoy it, and let's keep this positive flow alive. I'm rambling like an old lady, but this was my story, and I felt like I had to share it with you. So my story, and I think that's about it. Hope you can use it. I don't have an awesome jumper or a picture of Steven Seagal, even though that was awesome. But my story, hope you can use it. I think I burned the steak. No, I think I charred the steak on the outside because the butter caught on fire. I think that next time I will just make a large bed of coals, 6 or 7 minutes on each side, and a way to rest in the tin foil. I'm gonna flip the steak, let it rest for 10 more minutes, and then we're gonna open it. Hope it was not too much. Haze Outdoors sends group hugs all around. YouTube. If you want, I'll do a long distance high five. Let's open the steak in 10 minutes and see if I'm messed up big time. So this is very, very exciting. To see if we broke it. Haha! Boys and girls, we didn't break it. This is medium, by the way. If anyone should ask, medium. Yep. Next time. Next time, building up a big coal base, putting on the grill, 6, 7, 8 minutes on each side, rest in tin foil, 20 minutes next to the fire. This is very, very, very tender. This is a bit undercooked, I admit that. But what some of you don't know is that I actually enjoy almost a raw steak. Slightly cooked on each side, warm on the inside, very good. And this is soft like butter. So I think that I'm gonna end the video. My battery is already flashing at me, so ending the video with my steak and my fire and my Viking IPA from the land back in time. Yeah. But wow, really good beer. I'm gonna end the video here. Shout out to the boys keeping this alive. Shout out to the boys started it. Shout out to the boys who made it so far as passing this challenge along to me. Heck that I burned the butter on the pan. It pisses me off, but lesson learned. The steak is still awesome. Absolutely. Mikkel? Mikkel, if you're watching this, epic. Sharp as the Dickens, fits my hand perfectly. Gonna treat this very well and use it for a lot of trips to come, my friend. Thank you a lot. See you in the next one.